Alright, I'm back with a review of a slasher film. Been a while since I've done one of these. It's 1988's Hide and Go Shriek from Code Red. This film came out really during the what I call the overkill period of the 80s, with just so many slasher films coming out. I think it's during that period you've had really more misses than hits, but this one essentially is a setup piece for in a store on a weekend that's closed down. 8 kids that graduate high school decide to go celebrate by throwing a party at this storefront that's owned by one of the kids' fathers. And, of course, you got the obligatory sex and drinking and all that tough stuff going on. And, of course, they're going to get killed and bumped off. Interesting film, but thin plot. Very thin plot. I think it's probably, if I had to rate this, I would give it a 6 out of 10. I think a 6 out of 10 is sort of stretching it. Let me go through the Joe Bob Briggs-like totals, and then I'll come back and talk about some of the more interesting background on this film. All right. How are we going to score this? And by the way, my scoring system, what I'm looking for is a 10 or above. I consider kind of a very good slasher film. Maybe not a classic, but really 10 is kind of the cutoff, a score of 10. And my scoring system is obviously very subjective. So, first of all, you got 4 horny teenage girls, and you got 4 equally horny teenage boys. So it's a good start there. I mean, I'm not giving it a point for those things, but that's the setup. You got a knife to the gut. You've got one girl in cargo pants with dinosaur earrings, and that is Bunky Jones. I mean, she gets points just for her name. You got one classic. You really have 2 kind of set-piece kills in this. One is a death by drowning in a bathroom sink, shot from below, which I thought was very good. It's been done before, but given the situation, the circumstances, and the low budget of this film, which was $200,000, that's a pretty good scene. You have 4 sets of what I would consider B to C cup tits. Not bad. One hairy cross-dressing killer, played by Jeff Levine, by the way. One impalement on spikes. And what's cool about this is the killer, who's a cross-dresser, lifts the guy up Hulk Hogan style and then kind of drops him, kind of WWE move. You've got one kid in suspenders with dark shades. Which actually I took the point away for that, because I just thought it's ridiculous to be going around in a store that is really no lights in this furniture store at all. The whole film is shot in virtual darkness, and the kid's wearing shades the whole time. And he also has the only buzz cut in the film. Everybody else has kind of got the boofy hair with the kind of the mullets in the back, but he's the only one with a kind of a normal buzz cut, what we would consider normal in today's haircut styles. And every kid in the film is giving this kid grief because of his hair. That's kind of ironic that now everybody laughs at the mullets and the boofy hair. I took a point away for the poor lighting. You really, they just did not light this. The film is just not lit very well. Every scene is in virtual darkness. It's kind of ironic. Towards, I'd say, 50 minutes into the film, the kids get all of a sudden they decide, you know what, there's a killer roaming loose. Maybe we should cut some lights on. So I took a point away for poor lighting, and there was a scene where the killer is trying to moon his potential victims, and you can't even see it because the lighting is so bad. I took a point away for an impalement by a mannequin's arm, but it was shot off screen. You didn't see anything, so I took a point away from that. I gave a point for a very good striptease. Hot looking girl in the striptease. I believe that was Bunky. Not sure. Bunky went on to have a stellar career. This including this movie, she only did 4 films, including this one. So, and most of those were around 1988. So she was short-lived. Poor old Bunky. I also took a point away for Bonnie's lame panic tantrums that she threw. I mean, again, the acting, these are all kids, novice actors. Not good. I gave a point to a knife in the neck, pretty good. And then the key scene, the scene everyone talks about when they talk about this film, is the decapitation by an elevator to Bob Seger's girlfriend, Annette Sinclair. That gets a point. So my loose total was 8, which puts it right below what I call a good slasher film. I would say this is a mediocre slasher film. Drive-in award nominations to Bunky Jones, just because of her name, and then Jeff Levine for being a pretty decent cross-dressing killer. So there you go. That's my scoring system. As far as the film, this is one of those that the backstory and some of the backstory research I did is much more interesting than the film itself. First off, producer Jeff Levine, who plays the killer in this, went on to partner with Nicolas Cage and did all kinds of movies with Nicolas Cage. I mean, there must have been 20 credits associated with his name. The other one is Annette Sinclair, who plays supposed to play a teenage blonde wearing the Daisy Dukes kind of cut off jeans. She's was Bob Seger's girlfriend, and then they got married. And the story was that one of the guys in this film kind of grabbed her butt as part of the script of the scene, and Bob Seger called up the director and said, "Hey, man, that's not cool." And the director said, "Well, look, Bob, read the script. I mean, it was part of the movie." Ironically enough, she married Bob Seger and then divorced in 1988. I don't know if there's a connection or not, but their little marriage was short-lived for 1 year, and it ended in and around this movie. The director is a guy named Skip Skulnick, and there's actually a 20-minute interview with Skip on this Blu-ray. He went on to do. He has a very small list of credits, but he did go on to do, or at least be part of, I think he was an editor for the Walking Dead TV show. And then he's done a number of different TV shows. I think Salem, he did that one, and so that's he actually had a pretty decent career. This Code Red release has, besides the new 2K scan of the original inner negative, it's got on-camera interviews with the director, Skip Skulnick, an interview with the actor Jeff Levine and producer, and another producer that was part of this, Dimitri Villard. So in total, about 30 to 40 minutes of behind-the-scenes interviews and footage, including the full uncut elevator decapitation scene. So yeah, this release from a picture quality standpoint, I thought was as good as it's going to get, given the fact it was shot pretty poorly. I don't know about the 88 film's release. I understand that it has good picture quality, but from a special feature standpoint, it only has a trailer and then a little insert right up by what's the guy's name that does all those? I can't remember, but they have a little insert there. So, I mean, in comparing it to Code Red, I think this release is excellent. The picture quality is as good as it's probably going to get. Although I can't attest to comparing it to the 88 films. I don't have that release, and this is not worth double dipping for. So I would say if you like special features and background, go this direction with the Code Red as opposed to the 88 release. Now, Code Red's probably more expensive, and their releases typically are, but it's not a bad release. The film, like I say, it's thin. The storyline is extremely thin, and we've seen this story play out endless times within the slasher type films, and but it has an element to it that makes it interesting. It's got a sleaze component to it, and it's really in a time when politically incorrect films were prolific in this period. This is a very politically incorrect film along the lines of Sleepaway Camp. But as far as the ending, the reveal I thought was a good one. I thought the way the killer was dispatched was ridiculously stupid. But this is a mixed bag. It's a good watch, and not a great watch. So I give it a 6 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10 on my ranking system. As far as 10 being a good slasher film, this is really below that. So I would say this is a middle-of-the-road slasher film from the 80s. Probably something that only a completist would want to pick up. Yeah, so that's Hide and Go Shriek, and I hope you enjoyed the review. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.